Friends and comrades, today on the ADS platform, I want to share our concern and perspective on this horrible war that is raging between Israel and Hamas, where numerous Palestinian civilians are facing untold miseries. The war is escalating every hour, causing heavy losses of lives, property and resources. The bombing of a hospital yesterday that claimed 500 or so lives has perhaps shaken the conscience of the world, and the world is reacting differently as per their own national interest and their alliances with different players. There is also a very heated debate, conversation up and down the country, mainly in social media. But what is missing so far is what would be the political impact of this war on India. People are reacting from their own perspectives. There are three types of reactions from the world. Let me share that before I talk about the arguments exchanged in India. One is led by US and its allies. They have solidly stood behind Israel, although professing humanitarian support to the Palestinians. The other group, led by China, supported by Russia, they are making a neutral statement without naming Hamas, the provocateur in this unfortunate episode. The third group, belonging to Global South, so-called non-aligned or those who subscribe to multi-alignment policy, they are also taking a position which condemns terrorism, at the same time speaks for an independent and sovereign state in Palestine. Two things I wanted to add to this debate. One is the cause and the pretext of the war. Who started the war? We know the history of India's position on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. We also know the origin and the genealogy of the conflict. But the latest, let's talk about the present. The latest war is provoked by a terrorist attack that evokes the horror of Holocaust by Hamas on Israel. Israel, IDF, Israel Defense Forces, they are retaliating with all their force at their command in a bid to erase perhaps Hamas from the Palestinian landscape. Now, does Israel have the right to defend itself against a terrorist attack? Some would argue that Israel's state, which is in occupation of an independent country like Palestine, has been behaving as a terrorist agency. But that's a matter of debate. An army of a state which has a democratic politics, constitutes a government by regular elections. Shall we call it a terrorist state? What is our definition of terrorism? We can talk about it. But there is no doubt that Hamas or Hezbollah or similar outfits of their ilk across the world are terrorist organizations. Can we support terrorism as a means to settling differences or conflicts? India has consistently and steadfastly maintained that terrorism has no place in bilateral relations. That's one position. If that is so, unless Hamas and Hezbollah are folded, there could not be any negotiation. That is the position we have in our neighborhood. Bloodshed must stop, but so should the terrorist organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah. The next point that I wanted to share is that what would be its impact on Indian politics? It is obvious, as I said, Indians will not condone terrorism as they have been for long victims of terrorist actions from across the border. So, not condemning Hamas and showing sympathy, which we must, for the consequence of the war, not the cause, is really putting the cart before the horse. Thank you very much.